Well, here we are, folks. This is the third time I'm having to record this. I recorded a 40-minute video, and my microphone was just completely a disaster. It sounded like I was Skype calling somebody. And then as I'm about 20 minutes into my next video, re-recording it, it says I don't have enough disk space to continue. I'm running out of breath here, guys. I'm putting a lot of effort into these videos. I am already so freaking tired from talking. But it is not going to stop me from getting this freaking video recorded and uploaded. How's your Friday going, everybody? Episode 59, I believe, here of In Hindsight. I gotta check. My mind's all over the place. Hopefully your Fridays are going well. With this being the third time I've having to record this, I want to get right into it and not waste any more time in case if I have another F-up or something like that. But I want to say thank you, taking the time out of your days, out of your evenings, whenever you're watching this, to watch my videos, stuff like that. So if you're in the NBA, if you're following the playoffs, this is definitely a video for you. And as you can see by the thumbnail, I'm really just kind of going over what we've kind of seen so far, what we've kind of been able to gather from what we've watched through the first week of the NBA playoffs. Coming up, the NFL draft is Thursday. I'm going to be putting out some content here soon about my mock draft, about covering things in full detail about the NFL draft. So if you're into that, you want to check that out. My links in terms of my social media pages are in the description below. Check those out. But I appreciate each and every one of you, and I don't just say that robotically because I feel like there's so many people on YouTube that just say it robotically. I truly mean that. I appreciate that. If you guys could hit the subscribe down below, it would mean a lot. Just it helps grow the channel. I would love to get to the point where we can get people on the channel and garner a good audience. I know we're still in early stages, but it helps out a lot. Let's get right into it, guys, because I already am getting a headache from doing this already. So, I'm going to start in the Western Conference again. And we got some news with the Suns. Devin Booker's out, Game 3, Game 4. And if you're a Suns fan, I don't really think there should be too much concern. The Suns have been in this situation this season before. The Suns have enough of where they can put a Band-Aid on that. If you're the Suns, if you can go up 2-1 tonight, you're sitting in a good spot for Booker to come back. I think they win this series anyway. Kudos to the Pelicans for executing a lot better, playing a much better game the previous night in Phoenix. But this is when you're going to need guys like Jay Crowder and Cam Johnson, a Mikal Bridges, a Landry Shamet, at least a couple of those guys to really take the load on and try to produce certain things that Devin Booker would give you on a nightly basis. You're not going to replace Booker, obviously, when he's not in the lineup, but if you can get a couple guys like that to make some key shots, give you double-digit points, you're going to be sitting in a good spot because Chris Paul can facilitate for you. DeAndre Ayton's got to play better. He's got to get involved a lot more. But if you're the Suns, that's what you want. I think what we're seeing through this, the Suns are still the better team. They're going to win the series. But the Pelicans, you got to give them credit for hanging in there. They won their play-in game. I like the Pelicans' core, what they have with McCollum, Brandon Ingram. Zion should be back next year. Valanciunas, they have a really nice thing going. They really do. But they're not there yet. They don't have enough yet. The Suns are a better team still. I think the Suns should at least win one of these games without Booker. This could go to 6 games maybe. But what we've seen, the Suns are still the Suns. They're the team they've been all season. I think them not having Booker in the fourth quarter of a couple nights ago obviously hurt. The guy was ready to drop freaking 50. But that's really what you need tonight from the Suns, and that's what I will be looking for, is those guys stepping up and taking that mantle of giving you what Devin Booker would give you. I want to transition here to the Warriors, though. Warriors, Nuggets, what we've learned through the first week, the Warriors are back. The Warriors are back. They've had health issues, injury issues the last couple years that have, really had them kind of fall from the playoff spot the last 2 years. The emergence of Jordan Poole, the Warriors have not had this in the last 4 years. Jordan Poole's emergence is so big for them, man. And they are such a dangerous team. They might be the best team right now in the playoffs. And that's a scary thing. Stephen Curry being back, obviously, man, he just brings so much, especially in playoff time. Klay Thompson, seems to be back to himself. Like I said, Jordan Poole will probably be the most improved player. And these guys are giving you, all three are giving you 20 plus. That's absolutely incredible. How many teams can you look in the playoffs right now that have 3 legitimate scores that you can play through? Probably not really anybody. Maybe Milwaukee with a Holiday and Middleton, but those guys don't compare to Curry, Poole, and Clay and what they're doing. Draymond Green, the Warriors have they have guys that can play off the bench. They're a very dangerous team. A Suns and Warriors conference finals would be really fun. I'm not a Warriors fan. I'm not even a big Stephen Curry fan myself, but they're still fun to watch, and it would still be fun to see. And I think with what Jordan Poole's doing, that's the whole key here for the Warriors run throughout this whole playoff situation, man. Throughout this whole playoff seeding and everything like that. Nuggets are done. Nuggets, if they had Jamal Murray, Michael Porter, obviously they'd be in a better spot. If you're Denver going the offseason, because your offseason's coming, you got to go get somebody to play off Jokic, bro. You can not rely on Michael Porter. Jamal Murray's still recovering. You have to. I mean, you really want to go into next year with Monte Morris as your point guard. Aaron Gordon, Will Barton, you got to get better. Jokic is too good of a player to just not do anything. They have a good coach, and you got to get better. Got to get better. But Warriors are where they need to be. They're playing great, and the fact that you can get this type of production from 3 guys on your team is amazing. Dallas Jazz. Brunson is getting paid this offseason. Dallas is giving this series a run for its money even without Luka Doncic. They're playing hard. They are executing a lot better than Utah. And the thing with Utah is, I think what we can sit here and say, and I think every Jazz fan would probably agree, this is their ceiling. The last few years, this is what Utah's been. I swear, Utah really, for the most part, has kind of kept a lot of the same team. Donovan Mitchell is a star caliber player, one of the best scorers in the league. Rudy Gobert has been one of the best defensive players for quite a long time. But this is what they are. They're a good team, but they're not good enough. First, second round, that's it. And the fact that this is where you've been, you're stale, you're bland, it's not working. There's 2 things that can happen in the offseason. Either Mitchell is out, Quinn Snyder leaves, or you upgrade. And you can do that. Gobert and Mitchell's a nice duo to have, but you can 100% work yourself this offseason and bring in guys to get yourself up there with the likes of a Suns and a Warriors, etc. I really think that this is probably going to go to 7 games. And with Doncic coming back, maybe even shorter than that. Brunson gave you 30 plus last night. He gave you 40 plus the other night. Dinwiddie's been scoring. Utah doesn't have an answer. But it's very concerning with Utah. This is their ceiling. This is the team they are. So, for them to change that, you're going to have to make some decisions. Going on into Memphis and Minnesota, the final playoff bracket of the Western Conference. When it comes to inconsistency, my friends, question marks. You don't know who you're getting in and night out. That is the Minnesota Timberwolves for you. Patrick Beverley thought the season was already over. He's probably wondering why they're still playing games. He thought they won the championship. Karl-Anthony Towns has been miserable. D'Angelo Russell, inconsistent as it comes. Anthony Edwards has been their best player. And the thing is, Minnesota has a nice roster. I think they have a better roster than what the Grizzlies have. But there's something holding them back from all executing together, being a great dynamic trio. I don't know what that is. But Memphis is obviously a better team. They play a lot better together. You have a couple guys with Memphis that can offset from playing with Morant, with Dylan Brooks, Desmond Bane. Jaren Jackson's got to be better, but he's still a good defensive player. Same with Adams. They got a couple guys off their bench that can play. And their coach has been doing pretty good for them. So Memphis is going to win the series. I think really probably most people pick them to. The thing with Minnesota, man, is they blew such a huge game last night in the fourth quarter. You don't know who's going to show up nightly for them. You don't, and that's an issue, and especially for the playoff time. This is why they're not going far. This is why I knew they wouldn't go far. And when you look at the team they have, it's like, dude, how are they not better than an 8 or a 7 seed? Honestly. This is finally the first time they made the playoffs since, what, 03, 04 with Garnett? Something's got to change there. Because these three should be a dynamic trio. And we're not seeing that. Moving on in the Eastern Conference, Miami Heat versus the Atlanta Hawks. I think what we can kind of really say with this series, it's the Jimmy Butler show. And he's just going to take it over. Bam Adebayo's been non-existent. I'm not sure if he's been injured. He is reported with an injury right now. He's questionable tonight. But guys like him, Tyler Hero, have really been non-existent, but they've been getting some help from some of the role players with Duncan Robinson, Max Strus, which is obviously very helpful. I think really to finish off this series, you're going to continue to need that as Jimmy Butler does his thing. But if you're Atlanta, they should definitely stick with Nate McMillan once they get eliminated. You got to upgrade, though. Kevin Huerter is your shooting guard. You got to move on. DeAndre Hunter is inconsistent as it comes. John Collins is a good player. He's just been hurt. Clint Capella's hurt. They don't really have a whole lot there. With a guy like a Trae Young caliber type guy, go in the offseason, bring somebody else in, upgrade in your lineup, come back next year. Jimmy Butler dropped 45, I believe. 45 game 2. Absolutely incredible. They play tonight in Atlanta. Not sure if Adebayo's playing or not, but it's time for guys like Hero and Lowry and guys like that to really come on board and give a lift for Jimmy Butler. Finish the series. Give yourself a little bit of rest for second round. Go Heat. Moving on. Celtics Nets. I said Celtics in about 6 games. The thing with the Nets, they have no defense. Nets have zero defense, man. They give up so many points. And you have guys like Kevin Durant. You have guys like Kyrie Irving who are great closers. But they can't close. Not saying they can't. The team cannot close. Steve Nash is an awful coach. He just does not execute well with his team. Not all of it's been his fault this year. But the fact is, I mean, in the playoffs, you've been so close to win these games. And Nash just cannot get... I don't know what it is, dude. Nash has a great mind for the game, obviously, but I just don't think he has a knack when it comes to really leading a team. And with Ben Simmons supposed to come back game 4, that might help a little bit defensively. I'm not expecting a lot, but that's the thing. They lack... That's really the number one name for the Nets is lack. They lack defense. They can't close out games. They give up so many freaking points. But the Nets are a team that really have what you want. They have shooting. They have length. They have size. They can score inside. They have some playmaking. So what's the deal? Got to give credit to the Celtics, man. Jason Tatum has been playing like a top 10 player all year. Jaylen Brown, never understood the talk as to breaking these two up. For what? I don't get it. Celtics are the best defensive team in the NBA. Marcus Smart winning the award as well. Celtics, really that final stretch of the season, them really playing as the best team in the league. I mean, that's what you want to play. That's where you want to be going to the playoffs, and they're doing that. I think the Celtics are a team that can really play with anybody, be quite frank with you. I really do. I think really what we've been able to garner through this series so far is really seeing the Nets' inability, and again, I'm using that word lack, that is holding them back. And that's why I never sat here and said they were going to the finals. I didn't even think they were going to win this series. Could they? Sure. But they're going to have to do a lot more. Stop giving up so many freaking points. Moving on. We got, what's the next series here? Sixers, Raptors. Yeah, it's over. I said Sixers in 5. They're going to sweep them. And the thing with Toronto is they have a good coach. I really like their young group of guys. With Van Vliet, Siakam, Scotty Barnes having a nice rookie campaign. OG Anunoby isn't a bad player by any means. I like what they have. Gary Trent. But they lack a lot of size. They lack consistent scoring. again, they're kind of a team where you don't really know which player's going to show up. You don't know which player's going to go off. And sometimes that can be a good thing, but I think come playoff time, that's not a very good thing. And the Sixers, man, just Joel Embiid's manhandling, but Tyrese Maxey's having a great series, and that's really kind of putting a Band-Aid on the lack of James Harden scoring. But the thing is, James Harden's been rebounding the ball well. He's been facilitating the ball really well. That's the thing. In this type of series, you don't really even need James Harden to really drop you 20-plus a game. You don't. You don't. They're a superior team. They got better defense. They got better size. They play better as a team. You know what you're going to get. They're the type. I mean, when you look at the Raptors, they're not a championship team. Sure, they're a playoff caliber team. They're not a championship team. Sixers, they're a team that can definitely be a championship team. They play well together. They play through Embiid. They got guys that you can count on and rely on. With the Raptors, you're not really sure what you're going to get, and that hurts for playoffs. Sixers are going to sweep them, 100%. I would bet the house. Let's move on next to the next series here. The last series in the playoffs. Excuse me. Why am I blanking out on it? We said Celtics, Nets, Raptors, Sixers. Oh, yeah. Bucks, Bulls. What have we learned through the first week, the first 2-3 games of the first round of the playoffs with this? That this is going to be a much closer series than originally thought. I got to give credit to the Bulls, man. I thought this was going to be a sweep. Chris Middleton's out 3 to 4 weeks. That hurts big. If you're Chicago, if you can get good scoring from guys like DeRozan and Levine. Now, Giannis, you're not going to be able to stop. It's simple as that. Giannis is still going to give you 25, 30 plus a game. It's just how it is. He's the best player in the league. Don't care what you say. But if you're Chicago, with Middleton out, you can guard that perimeter. Milwaukee doesn't have a guy, other than really Giannis, that's going to give you a lot to work with down low. They got shooters. Grayson Allen, Wesley Matthews, Bobby Portis can shoot the ball. Drew Holiday can shoot. Now, Drew Holiday can get to the basket himself, but if you're Chicago, if you can take away, if you can limit those outside guys other than Giannis, I mean, you're going to be in great shape. Seriously. You get a guy like DeRozan, who I like in the playoffs, Zach LaVine, if he can just kind of, make some just really big shots. Patrick Williams is a guy as well that's kind of been having some good stretches of games. You're going to be looking at a 7-game series, my friend. And if Chicago wins this series, I mean, my God, who would have thought? The Middleton injury hurts big time. And if you're Milwaukee, who's going to step up for Middleton? I would imagine probably a Bobby Portis. I would imagine you're probably a Drew Holiday. Other than them, it's really going to be guys like Connaughton, Wesley Matthews, maybe Brook Lopez having to make some big 3-pointers. But if you're Chicago, play that perimeter well. Let these other guys beat you. You're going to be sitting in good shape, man. I really think going forward, the NBA is in a good position. I have not been, if you have watched my previous videos, I have not been a big NBA fan for quite a while. And I don't really see myself getting back to the fandom I used to have. I used to absolutely love the NBA growing up, which was early 2000s into probably the early 2010s. And then I just lost a lot of knack for it for various reasons. One of those reasons was the lack that there was in each conference. A lot of predictability and just zero buzz outside of the Warriors and Cavs for that 5-year stretch or however long it was. With where the NBA is now, you have these new young rising stars on multiple teams, and that bodes so well for the NBA. And you have balance, you have unpredictability, you have a competitive nature in each conference. And this is the second year I am watching the playoffs in really its entirety. If the NBA can keep that going, you'll have another viewer, my friend, for quite a while. That's what makes the NBA enjoyable to talk about. It's what makes the NBA enjoyable to watch. Now, I'm still, like I said, I don't really see myself getting back to the fandom I used to have. And maybe you're the same way, or maybe you guys love the NBA and where it is, and that's fine. But this is what the NBA needs. This is what I hope continues to transcend in the future with the league. Because going through these playoff brackets here, going through really the tournament, there's so much that can happen. And there's actual buzz. There's actual unpredictability. There's actual things that you actually find yourself being invested in. And that's what you want. So kudos to that. I didn't go I'm about 20 minutes in here. I didn't go too in depth as much as I did as I previously recorded. I'm so worn out from freaking talking more. But my predictions are standing. With where they're at now, Suns, Warriors, Mavs, Memphis, Heat, Celtics, Sixers. I still am picking the Bucks, but as I said, still standing. Nonetheless, though, I'm not really sure what the slate of the games are today. But I think really the most interesting aspect, or the most interesting games, I think really if Luka comes back, that can easily be a 7-game series. That can really make probably some interesting fourth quarter finales. I think maybe Memphis, Minnesota could maybe go a little bit, maybe to 6, even though I don't like where Minnesota's at right now. It's pretty concerning. If the Nets can get back in the series, they can make it interesting. I mean, this has already been an interesting series with how close the games has been. But that's what I'm saying. Like, the Nets and Celtics match up well, but as I was saying with the Nets, they give up too many points, man. They can't close these games out, and they got 2 great closers on their team. So I don't know. But I'm headed there, folks. Like I said, I'm going to be talking NFL draft and things like that coming up. I don't know what day. You can follow my Facebook page, in Heintz site, Twitter, Nate_Heintz, Instagram, Nathan_Heintz. If you want to, all's in the link below. If you guys want to keep up with things at the channel. Like I said, if you guys could hit the thumbs up, hit the subscribe, all free of charge. It really means a lot. But we'll be back. We'll be back with, like I said, that's going to be our next video upload. But I wanted to come on here. It's been about a week and a half and get some content out there and really just kind of talk about the NBA playoffs right now. And what freaking pisses me off, man, I was actually looking at the Penguins schedule. It's freaking sad. There's about 4 or 5 games left in the NHL season. And it's till the end of the month. We're about, what are we right now? We're a full weekend right now. We're 2 to 3 games in the first round of the NBA playoffs. The NHL playoffs hasn't even started yet. NHL and the NBA start at pretty much the exact same time on a regular basis. But the NHL, no. NHL playoffs got to start middle of May, all the way through June and July, and then right back at it. You might as well make the NHL 12 months of the year. I hate that. This is honestly why I haven't even watched the Penguins for the last probably week and a half, 2 weeks. Ready for the playoffs start. It's ridiculous. There's your rant. But anyway, thank you, each and every one of you, for tuning in. Hopefully you enjoyed some of the things I talked about. I could have went in a lot more, but with my recording issues the last 2 times, I'm so freaking tired already from talking. I can't go in anymore. But I wanted to come on and talk a little bit about it. So we will see you back sometime soon. Like I said, if you guys want to keep up, you can follow those pages. But we will see you for some NFL draft content coming up here soon. Take care, guys. Have a great weekend. We'll see you soon.